Okay, so when you're single, you tend to put up boundaries and you tell yourself, if anyone comes into my life, they have to respect and abide these boundaries, right? However, I would suggest that if you are considering matrimony, that you do take into account that your boundaries may not be respected or adhered to 100% of the time. What I mean by that is when you enter into a marriage, it's great and all to talk about what you're expecting your partner to do for you and how you guys are expecting to support each other. But there will be things that will test your patience. There will be traumatic events or certain misfortunes that happen that come into play, and they're going to test the marriage. So your boundaries are going to be tested. And if you walk around with the attitude that, oh, well, if you don't do this, then I'm out, or I'm done, I'm over. You can't run away every time you guys are not in alignment. So marriage has the extra requirement of patience and communication, because when your boundary is not being respected, if you feel that way, you should be able to come together and have a talk so you guys can kind of recalibrate, reconvene, and figure out what it is that is the issue, whether we need therapy, whether this is something that we can fix on our own. But I wouldn't say to pick up and abandon the relationship just because you're not getting what you want. So we have to be very careful when we're converting or when we're turning from single to being in a union, especially one of matrimony, because it's the two of you against the world, essentially. So, specific example, your spouse has a death in the family, so they're not able to uphold your request or requirement for effective communication all the time. They're not able to communicate because they're going through something. And so, does that mean that you must pick up and go? No. And you can't force them to communicate if they're hurting. So it's just having that reality in the back of your mind that it's a different ball game. It's a different playing field. So not everything is going to be in alignment. It may be in alignment in the beginning, but if you're together 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, come on. Most of the time you're not going to be in alignment. And so then what? Are you prepared to do whatever work is required? That is the question you should be asking yourself and you should be considering. And I'm not saying that you cannot still uphold your boundaries, but it's going to take more effort. But what I will say though is it should be on both ends. For me at least, if one person is not putting in effort, that's a good cause to start ending things. But again, just keep that in mind, guys, because I know some of us are on this, healing phase and we are becoming aligned. So certain things we're not going to put up with anymore. However, when you're going into a union, you should definitely consider that some things are going to be altered and change a little bit. Doesn't mean you have to put up with disrespect, but certain things are going to have to be compromised, if that makes sense. But it's up to you to determine what your non-negotiables are. I will say that. So just keep that in mind.